Hello, welcome to Prasad Pod. I'm your host, Jarrell Prasad.
And I'm Paul Campbell.
All right, so we have a another controversial topic we're going to talk about here today that might get us, canceled or banned. But so we're just going to start off saying everything here is said for entertainment purposes only. Any likenesses and depictions of any real persons, places, or things are purely coincidental, even though we don't believe in coincidences. And uh, any also disclaimer. What was the other one?
Not financial advice.
Not financial advice. And yeah,
This
that's
is for
it.
entertainment purposes only.
Entertainment purposes only. All right. So, as you're aware, or most people are probably aware in the news cycle, the White House said a certain list, client list, does not exist, and a certain somebody is, a bland topic that shouldn't be talked about anymore. It's old news, and this is just clear evidence that the system is broken. That uh, the left, the right, everybody's on the same side. What I
We're on the
feel,
list.
yeah, what I feel is like the they're all playing for the same team. They're just wearing different mascots, and the whole thing with this is they say that this list doesn't exist when we all know it exists. They said it was on Pam Bondi said, "Oh, it's on my desk. I'm looking at the files." They were standing up a couple of months ago holding out binders saying that we have it. We got thousands of pages to read to. We're gonna get to you. We're gonna expose it. But I think the whole fact of the matter is that there's enough names on that list to collapse the world economy, to, cause a depression, especially if you lock all these people up in Alligator Alcatraz. So,
Well,
uh,
do you feel like they're gaslighting us by just being
oh,
like, what
oh,
list?
oh yeah, they're definitely gaslighting us. They're gonna be like, what list?
So, well, do you think that like it's you know, would that do you think it's a good idea to gaslight people on such on like this topic specifically? Like what would be an end game that would be beneficial to them
See,
is
this
what
is
I,
crazy.
that's what I'm trying to figure out.
This is what Trump ran on when he was campaigning. He was saying, "Oh, I'm going to release this list. This is what it is. This is why they took a shot at him." You know, but I did see a Reed Choi video where he was like, "Oh, we took a shot at you, but we missed, and we could have did it on purpose." Or was that Reed Choi? I don't know. But uh, they're saying that you know, he's being threatened now with something. I don't know if his family's in danger or
Well,
I mean
Trump is always in danger, though.
that's how it is, because I mean, what is an NDA anyways? It's a piece of paper. You're not scared of it. Like if an NDA, if you were served an NDA for something, okay, you wouldn't talk about it, right? But if it was something that big to where it exposes the most evilest thing on the planet, I mean, you of course would speak out and be like, your piece of paper ain't gonna stop me because if I talk about this, even though it's an NDA, were you gonna sue me for you telling me you murdering people or you're raping people or you're hurting
So,
children?
conceivably, yeah. And those NDAs are no joke. Like that's, people would allegedly a lot of that info got out in like WikiLeaks and on 4chan and 8chan and all these different like kind of dark web backdoor, whatever you want to call it, back channel, aggregator site, excuse me, image sites or image boards, excuse me. But I can't figure out I like if I was gonna say like put it we already know what's or excuse me who is on the list, right? The kind of the elephant in the room, the question is Trump on the list, right? So right now it's like it looks really bad, right? Like
Yeah.
how can you run? He was mentioning Epstein, that guy with the island. He's going to have some problems with the island. He said that to Sean Hannity at a fundraiser in 2015.
Yeah.
So why would he bring that up in 2015 when he wasn't president yet? Like, because that could, if he was on that list, they could just redact everybody's name, release the part of the list that he's on, and then say, yeah, Epstein was up to this, and they could, take him out, right? They wouldn't do that because they wouldn't want to burn their own people. So that's why they wouldn't do it. So it's like a hush hush, don't talk about the list. Don't talk about Epstein, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But I like it's now um it's been, well, that was 10 years ago, wasn't it? So, and like we all know who's on the list because it's been released several times online. You can kind of see some of the celebrity behavior, so you kind of in general know people who are really super creeps, like Bill Clinton, to name, allegedly, and then a bunch of other ones, Bill Gates allegedly, and all this sort of stuff. I
So
mean,
you can't honestly talk about any of these peoples, and really shouldn't be dropping names, right, Paul?
oh yeah,
Yeah,
we could get that's why I said allegedly. But anyhow, the
yeah. I mean,
could get canceled.
we just tried to do something right here. We tried to create a podcast thumbnail for this episode, and you try to ask AI to create you an image of that person, Epstein, or the other person, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, and AI will tell you it cannot create any images. If you name anybody that's implicated in any of those things, then it's not gonna allow you to even create just a regular image of them. So, you'll have to do Photoshop and cut and paste and stuff if you want. Um,
Yeah, it's actually actively being censored, and that's the point. Is somehow, like, let's say that, 'cause whether or not there's a list is not the point. There's only one list, and you know what I mean. That they're all on it, right? So if um if Trump all of a sudden is, now remember, he has to be the president too and not be the conspiracy theory guy. Like I know, and he is also the conspiracy theory president, but I mean what he still has to play the part of president from time to time. And if Pam Bondi and Dan Bongino, I know there's some disagreements between the two of them allegedly. I don't know. But if he's trusting Pam Bondi that she's, telling him, no, there actually wasn't, don't even worry about it, then he's not going to read the paperwork himself, right? He has to go off her word. If it turns out that she's lying, which we all think she is, then he reveals that she's in on it. So therefore, she's now dirty, and everybody connected to her is dirty. So now they're basically getting exposed as double agents, or bad guys, right? Who, the wolves in sheep's clothing. Now, I mean, I don't think he's on the list simply because why would he be talking about it so many years ago, trying to expose it if he himself was on it? Then this was before he was even president. So I think he was invited to these parties. I think he had a really good publicist and a media manager and and everything. But I think he always left the parties early. Now that he's clearly gaslighting all of us and going back on his word and not following through with this thing. I mean, even he said in the debates about Hillary Clinton, you'd be in jail. Well, you never arrested her publicly, right? It's just keeps going, just keeps going, and more time goes by. So I don't know. This is all my speculation. I don't know really what's going on, but what I think is happening is the media is, if you, or not the media, excuse me, the left wing voting base now thinks that Trump is on the list. Before, 8 years ago, to them there was no such thing. All of our celebrities are nice people. There's no way that this is a real thing. This is a conspiracy theory. There's no such thing as this. That's where they were. I know that because I've had conversations with these people and I have memory. And back in 2017, if you would tell that, anybody, any normie, that all these celebrities were doing stuff on this airplane and on this island, this is really good, they'd say that's not true. Now Trump has them demanding the release of the Epstein list. So really, it's not like when we see the news, it's confusing and weird, especially when we see these things, because you've done the research, you know that this thing exists. But then what we have is, why is Trump gaslighting me and all of a sudden saying it doesn't exist? Because it's opposite land on the other side of the aisle. The left will always do the opposite of what Trump is doing. So why not get your enemy to scream for their own destruction? Like that's what it would ultimately bring about. Sure, there's going to be plenty of Republicans that are going to get burned. And in the meantime, you still have the list. You can still release it whenever he wants because everybody who's on the list knows there's a list. So that's now leverage for him to use people in places of power, to control them, and if that means that they're going to now bring forth his agenda, if as long as it's a populist agenda that benefits the American people, that's fine. But I mean, think about this is why some people don't understand the 3D chess stuff and they mock Trump for it. Oh, everything's 3D chess. It's like you remember talking to your liberal cousin at Thanksgiving in 2016 where they said there is no list. That's insane. You're crazy. Even when Jeffrey Epstein was arrested in 2018, that's all just crazy. Trump is just trying to take out a guy he had a disagreement. They weren't even talking about this. Now they're calling for the list to be released because they think Trump is on it, which he's not. Like just all it is Trump just it's the counterpunch is your enemy attacks you, you break your lines and retreat. The enemy then comes in and breaks their lines by chasing after you into your retreat. Now you got a pincer attack. That's what the Germans would do in World War II. Their retreat and counterattack was so effective that U.S. Army had to develop countermeasures. That's what I think Trump is doing is he's just backing up, and they're now my liberal friends who used to tell me that everything Alex Jones said was crazy are now telling me Trump is on the list and they need to release it right now. So that's what I think we're witnessing. And yeah, we're getting gaslit because we know we've been following this crap since the WikiLeaks were coming out in the 2014s and 2012s and everything, however long ago it was. But now our normie friends and family members who have no clue what's going on are now about to be very shocked when this thing either gets released because Trump is done using it as leverage over the people that are on it that he's controlling, or when he just it comes out naturally through leaks or otherwise. Like I'm very excited to see what happens, but that's just my opinion of what's going on. I could be wrong. And hey, if Trump turns out to be on the list, then great, you were right anyway. But I don't think he was. And but at the end of the day, this is where we're at, and I don't know what really what to expect, but I do think it's an interesting phenomenon that the people who used to deny the existence of the list are now calling for it to be released publicly. And even so, those people still follow the traditional media and traditional news and all this. The apparatus and media empire that Trump has built is 5 times bigger than them. His online engagement of his people are all insulating, his base are all insulating him from the legacy media, which will be eventually calling for the list, hanging themselves in the process. It's get your enemy to destroy themselves. That's what I think is going on. But
Yeah,
what
well,
do I know? I'm just a dude.
yeah, regardless of all of that, it doesn't stop the fact that uh, just because one island is discovered and one person was arrested and allegedly unalive themselves in a prison cell with a minute of missing footage doesn't take away from the fact that there are probably hundreds of other islands elsewhere,
Oh yeah.
hundreds of other parties with thousands of baby bottles of baby oil, all this stuff is still going on. I mean, and you know, a good way, take the movie Eyes Wide Shut. A good way to get people to believe something isn't happening or isn't real is to put it in a movie, you know,
Mhm.
you
Yep.
know.
Oh, it's just a movie.
Yeah, put it in a movie and just and then people will be like, "Oh, it's just a made up concept. It doesn't happen in real life. It's just a movie." So, a lot of people are out there probably still suffering. There are people being trafficked, and you gotta be aware of that. I mean, think ultimate power and ultimate money ultimately corrupts, you know? And what's the evilest thing you could think of somebody doing?
Yeah,
If,
really.
if you have a whole bunch of money and you think you're unstoppable and you can do things, you would make people do like awful things just for the sake of your entertainment or just for to do it. Uh, that's one aspect. And also, if you look at the Diddy trial evidence and stuff, all the stuff going on there, what they were testifying him, uh, all that stuff is, satanic rituals. It's sex magic and satanic uh, ancient rituals to praise fallen angels and Nephilim and but people don't seem to realize that it's not for just the purpose of being nasty and getting off on that
Yeah.
gratification. They're doing it for a reason. They're making sacrifices. And then a friend of mine said, "What's more, what's the ultimate Hollywood uh, humiliation ritual than to be paraded on trial and have all this evidence and all your business posted out there and be humiliated, be locked up for a few months and then come off not guilty. It's the ultimate humiliation ritual. And then next thing you know, they're going to be making money and everyone's not going to be talking about this stuff. But,
Yeah. The
us folks that are labeled conspiracy theorists, and I don't think that's a bad thing either, being labeled a conspiracy theorist, because it just means that you're not thinking like the normal everyday sheeple. You're not part of the crowd. I wear conspiracy theorists that were like a badge of honor. So,
I
you
like
know,
Truth Seeker. That's the one I
exactly.
like.
Still, yeah, I mean, they try to use it as an insult, conspiracy theorists, but it's not. It means that we're more in tune to different frequencies than you are.
Yeah. And well, people are waking up, and I think this is like there is a great awakening happening, fortunately, and through conversations like this. And there's definitely still other Epsteins that are out there that need to be stopped and hopefully are being dealt with. And of course, you know, the that his name is going to get the most whatever has carries the most weight because it's the most publicly known. But even so, most of your average people aren't up to date on this sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, like I don't know why. I think the Diddy trial was kind of ridiculous, and I don't
Yeah.
understand the law or why he's because from what I heard, he did everything that was accused of him. But so I don't understand why he would get all those counts removed. He'll probably do 10 months of probation or something and go to the next. I don't know what's going on. I don't know that well enough, but it just seems really weird that why would you shine a light on this guy so brightly and then they totally whiffed at putting him away and so
Yeah, I
and
think we're
so,
being gaslit by both situations there.
well it's kind of weird because like the are if he gets his behavior, like freak offs as they aren't technically illegal from what I understand. It is if you bring underage people from out of state and or within state, it doesn't matter. But what he was allegedly doing was bringing like people from out, paying for people to be transported who were of age from out of state, he then remained friends with after the fact to these things. So it's there's a weird law or clause or whatever that, and somebody can please correct me if I'm wrong, but like if you basically if she is willing to do this and doesn't file charges in the state of California, then it's not technically prostitution or something like that. So that's why one of the charges was dropped. Like some weird technicality that I didn't know of. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just going off of my, Twitter research. But like at the end of the day, he should have got should have thrown the book at him, but they
Yeah.
didn't. They like, and then with that happening, with Epstein list getting black holed, and now you can't find it. It's looking really bad. But at the same time, the this media, podcasts, Reels, Twitter and X, people share information at a rate where we don't need the legacy media. We don't need the news. They just kind of propagandize us. And now they have to defend what's being said if that's what's going on, which I don't think it is, like the official narrative.
Yeah.
So
I
it
mean,
makes them look worse.
yeah, we have no NDAs out, but we're trying not to sit here and get canceled again or get sued, so
Yeah.
we got to be careful with what we say, how we say it. So, but the thing is, you know, people should do their own research, listen to, be open to listen to different things, because the fact of the matter is he got he was, found not guilty, but there was no denial that any of this stuff didn't occur,
Right.
you know? So, I mean, the thing is, uh, you know, to what level, and how bad was it? Like how much stuff didn't even get revealed, you know?
But in our when we did the Charlie Chaplin Hollyweird episode that we got in trouble for, I mean, I since then I discovered, did you know that Jack Nicholson had a tunnel that went from his house to the Playboy Mansion?
Yeah, I heard of that.
Like, what is that about? Like, what do you
Yeah.
think's going on there?
Yeah.
Like, so this is normal behavior for Hollywood celebrities. And the more you see that, it's pretty horrible and shocking. And now it's to the point where you can do all of this stuff and face no repercussions for so it's not looking good right now for us who are thinking Trump was going to come in and kick ass. Now, we don't have much time left, but like from a crypto standpoint, things are looking really, really good. From a holding horrible people accountable for their terrible actions standpoint, it's not looking really good. So I don't know what the future is going to hold, but right now it is kind of looking very disappointing. But I'm holding out that, we're 7 months into his presidency. We got 3.5 years to go. So I'm not gonna form my opinion this moment, but I am
I'm gonna
disappointed.
I'm gonna say it is discouraging that, justice doesn't get served, and the evil people don't get punished, and good people suffer. Um, but like we said, before, we invest in XRP, not financial advice. So we could take advantage of the wave of, benefits coming from the changes happening in the world. So, XRP is up 284, 285, and tomorrow is Monday, and it should be the start of crypto week, July 14th. And then they're gonna vote on a couple of these acts, the Genius Act, the Clarity Act, Anti-CBDC Act, and Ripple might be dropping their lawsuit, or not Ripple, but the SEC might be dropping their portion of the lawsuit. At the same time, you got ISO 20022 getting launched, and
Fed now starts Monday,
that now starts tomorrow, Monday.
and we
And
want to
then
see the rates get cut at the end of the month.
and
Like,
Jerome Powell might be resigning. Yeah.
mhm.
So, I mean, you're going to see the interest rates get cut this month. So, I mean, we could.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we could possibly go right to 50 to $100 XRP right next week. Anything's possible, you know. It could happen. I'm hoping. I got my fingers crossed. But we'll see.
Well,
But
when did you call it? What was your moon date? What month did you say?
I did say August.
We're right on schedule.
Yeah, August. August was the moon date because that's when the first ETFs start rolling out.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's our episode today. We do want to thank you for tuning in. Remember, none of the XRP information we talk about is financial advice. Do your own research, and just keep consciously aware. Everything else we said earlier, again, was for entertainment purposes only. And you take it easy, and we'll see you in the next one. God bless.
God bless.